And in the series finale, they cross over the border and they immediately start talking about all their regrets, the things that they didn't do. It's not like they're removed from reality, though. They know that they have 3 weeks down in Mexico. Then you've got a likely scenario of Judy heading to prison. But that's something that right now Jen just doesn't want to think about. They pull over because they have to go to the bathroom, though. As Jen is standing watch for Judy, they notice that another car is pulled up, and Jen recognized the 2 guys. It's the same 2 guys that were walking towards Agent Moranis' hotel room. She figures they're FBI, but Judy says, no, they're not FBI, they're the Greeks. That's because Judy knows them. They've been tailing both of them for quite some time. They want the money that Steve stole. They've been able to figure out that if Steve stole the money from them, Judy must have stolen it from him. Judy, though, plays the cancer card, letting him know that she's got the big C, which does make them very sympathetic to her cause, but also letting him know that Jen is pregnant. So you've got a terminal woman and a pregnant woman. Killing both, not great optics. She then fakes a bout of nausea and begs them, just let me get my medicine. And when they do that, she pulls out the gun from the safe. She demands that they get back in the car. She shoots their tires out, and then Jen and Judy head off. A little while later, they arrive at Steve's Mexican cabin. There's nobody there, but they do find a house cat. They then start living their best life. Walking the beach, watching Mexican television, which is really just American reruns with bad dubs. But one morning, Jen wakes up and she panics because Judy's nowhere. When she finally finds Judy, Judy tells her that she just took the boat out on the water because the sunrise was beautiful. And Jen says, well, next time, can you just leave a note? I was freaking out. Judy then starts trying to convince Jen to go out on the water with her, and Jen definitely has no interest in doing that. She doesn't think it's safe, and Judy says, well, there are life vests in the garage. But when they go to the garage, what they find is a car, and it looks like it's the same exact car that hit Ted. Both women are very confused, but Judy figures that Steve must have gotten all the parts and put it back together. It's an extremely awkward situation for both of them. Judy offers Jen a golf club if she wants to smash it up because she must hate the thing, but Jen, holding back tears, says, how can I hate it? It brought me you. After a little bit of a hug, they head down to the water, and they never actually go in, but they do sit on a boat on the beach. That was the compromise they came to. Judy tells Jen all about her Uncle Paul, which really was just one of her mom's boyfriends. He's the one who taught her how to sail. And one day, he sailed out of their life. Paul and Judy's mom got into a fight, and she never saw him again. She's always wondered how he's doing, and if he thinks of her. She also always wondered if Paul was actually her real dad. Reality then hits both women because they only have a few days left, but Jen has come up with a plan. What if Judy died? I mean, she's going to die, but what if they tell the police that she died in the clinical trial? And then they both just stay there, in Mexico. Admittedly, Jen has not worked out all of the details for this, i.e. like getting Charlie and Henry down there, relocating the whole family, having the baby in Mexico. She's really just spitballing, but Judy tells her you can't do any of that. Jen wants to be with Judy the entire time, but Judy, crying at this point, says, no, I'm not going to be like your mother. I'm not going to let you see me suffer and put you through that. No. Judy does turn to Jen and say, you have to promise me, though, that you will not let that baby grow up without knowing who its father is. Trust me on this. As for the baby, though, they have a bigger issue than the baby's father. Jen starts bleeding. They have to rush to a Mexican hospital, and luckily, it turns out Judy speaks fluent Spanish. And that doctor tells Judy to tell Jen that she just has a condition and the baby is healthy and everything looks great. They'll have to do a couple follow-up visits, but while this is scary, it's nothing to be really alarmed about. They also learn that Jen is having a girl, which Jen is thrilled about. That's what she was hoping for. With only a few days left in Mexico, they decide to go out and have an authentic Mexican dinner that night. While Judy is sucking down a margarita, Jen is sucking down water in a margarita glass. Even with no alcohol, they seem to be having a great time, dancing the mariachi band. But in the middle of it, Jen gets a phone call from Ben. During this phone call, Jen finally decides to tell Ben that she's pregnant and the baby is his. He is beyond excited about this. He's thrilled. Ben didn't call, though, just to catch up with Jen. He called because he has some news. He found out that Agent Moranis died. This is great news for Judy and Jen, because the FBI thinks that the Greeks did it. They also think that the Greeks killed Steve as well. Because in Moranis' room, it was completely ramsacked and the file on Steve was missing. The point is, both women can go back and be fine. Judy reminds Jen, though, about that whole confession thing, but Jen thinks there's got to be a way around that. You just say you made it up or the Greeks threaten to kill you, something. But Judy's health is rapidly deteriorating. She's just been really, really good at hiding it. Once Jen gets Judy in bed, she says, look, I don't want you to suffer. We'll figure this out once we get back. And that's when Judy has to tell Jen, I'm not going back. This is really, really tough for Jen to hear, but they start making plans to visit each other, see each other on weekends. As hard as it is for Jen to hear that her friend isn't coming back with her, she does understand it because the house is beautiful. They then start crying, telling each other how much they mean to each other, and then finally telling each other that they love each other. When Jen wakes up the next morning, Judy isn't there, but there is a note. Judy took the boat in the early hours of the day, and she sailed off. Now, the only thing left for Jen to do is head back. She decides to do so in Steve's car, the same car that killed Ted. The whole time on the drive, she's talking to Judy, even though Judy isn't there with her, but she's there in spirit. It's not like Jen is going back by herself, though. She decided to bring the cat. She gets back to Laguna just in enough time to go see Henry's concert, and when she enters the church, the 1,000 paper cranes that Judy made are strewn from the ceiling, so she gets even more emotional. The music choice is also interesting. The kids are singing Come On Get Happy, a song all about death. That doesn't help things. She makes her way slowly down the aisle until she finds Lorna along with Charlie. Both Lorna and Charlie know what happened to Judy. They know that she's gone. They also know that Jen is very fragile at the moment. But then somebody comes and sits right down next to her, and it's Ben. He got out for good behavior. Judy sent him a flyer for the concert, so he knew where to find Jen. But when he asked Jen, is Judy here? Jen just looks up at all the paper cranes and says, yep, and then starts crying. Jen is now going to the grief group for a whole nother reason. Not her husband, but her friend. The good news is she gave birth to a beautiful, healthy baby girl. But no, she didn't name it Judy. I thought that too. She named it Joey. She thought naming it Judy would be weird. She's continued to live her life at her house. Ben has moved in. He's getting along great with the kids. Everything seems to be going great for Jen. But something has been bothering her. The fact that she never told Ben what happened to his brother. So she turns to Ben and says, I have something to tell you. And that is how Dead to Me ends. Thank you so much for watching this recap. If you watch the other ones, I really appreciate that too. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to. Hit thumbs up if you liked it. Smash that thumbs down if you thought it sucked. I have a Patreon, I have merch, I have a membership, I have a bunch of ways that lead to you giving me money, but I do appreciate that. And normally I say I'll talk to you next season, but in this case, I won't.